Oh my god, we're playing Daniel Naroditsky. Let's go / emote only. Good luck, Mr. Danya. Literally, like, my favorite chess YouTuber. I hope he moves. Did he miss it? Good luck. Is anybody watching his stream right now? We're both on 2 out of 2 Entitled Tuesday. He's probably beating, like, Magnus and Akaru. I beat a CM and a GM, though. Okay. He moved. He just spotted me 34 seconds. He's like, that's not enough of a handicap. I need to give you a little more. Alright, knight c3. Let's play this with, like, e6. Let's see if he wants a French. Because if you just continue with Joe Bob and then maybe... Okay, you wanted a French. You wanted a French. Oh, yes. This is one of my favorite gambits. Oh my god, he knew it. What? He played a3. I wanted to put my bishop there, and he knew that. Alright. That's fine. I didn't want to put my bishop there anyway. Okay, well now he's really threatening to take this. Okay, let's trade. I feel like an open center is a good idea for me because... Is he thinking about gambiting against me, like not taking this pawn and playing f3? That would be pretty awesome. I don't think that's objectively a good idea, but... So yeah, I feel like I want an open center. Queen g6, just knight g3, and then I get hit. So I'm honestly... Do I have some fun square? I'm probably just going to get attacked wherever I go. Let's just come back to d8. So yeah, I have the bishop pair, which is why I wanted things to open up a little bit. If I go here, is he going to go, like, check on b5, induce c6, and then kind of, like, something interesting like that? Alright, we're just going to play bishop e7. There's nowhere else this bishop is going to go. Okay, now I wanted b6. Now that he can't bother me with that stuff, with this check. Ah, okay, he sets up for... I don't know if he's setting up for long castle or just taking this away as an option. He might be setting up for long castle. So, okay, my bishop pair looks like I got something for the lack of space advantage, for sure. Like, I have a bishop pair, and I was able to keep the center a little bit open, you know? Let's play knight d7, because I'm not really sure. Like, are you going to go all out here? Then maybe I don't want to castle in that direction if you're going to do that, Mr. Danya. Okay, do I want to trade and open this? I've got a lot of options here, but it might be too many options for my own good. If I do nothing, he plays f4, but if I take it, then I feel like I'm immediately giving myself some problems. Okay, I'm going to play a6. I'm going to keep this out of here. So he's threatening bishop b5. He's not now. Goes there. And queen d5. Bishop a6. I have... Oh, he didn't even want to consider that stuff. Okay. We should be a little faster. Oh, wait. Queen a2 was my idea. I forgot about my own idea. Wasn't this good? That was part of the reason I did that. I just forgot about it. I'm like, yeah, I should move the queen. This was a good move. That was one of the reasons I did this. That was like the reason I did it. Queen a2, yeah, knight c3 I had here. Okay, whatever. I'm not crying over spilled milk. Was I getting trapped? No, I wasn't. It was a good move. I missed it. Even though I didn't miss it. I missed it, but whatever. Alright, let's castle. There were knight checks and hits here. I like my position, actually. I have a good position. Alright, we're just going to stack. I can't think of anything better to do. Eric d4 is interesting. c3. I mean, like, I'm just kind of trusting him that it doesn't work. But I don't really know why I am. Just, like, I'm not going to win the chess game by trusting him that it doesn't work. Just stack. I don't have a lot of time. f5 is another idea. I mean, it forces this en passant, and then I can, like, look to put the second pawn on f5. Okay, he wants to push f5. Okay, let's go here. I'm not going to win a chess game by trusting you. What if I don't trust you? What if I don't trust you? Let's go here.
Five, four, three.
Wait. Does that
Four.
work? And then this? I don't know what's happening here, actually.
3, 2, 3.
Oh my god, wait, I'm winning. I think.
2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3.
Don't flag me.
2, 3, 2, 3.
No, no, oh my god.
2.
It really made me panic.
3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4.
Shush. You're making me panic again.
4, 3, 4.
I don't want to draw.
4,
No.
4. 3, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3.
Damn it. Wait, this was probably winning if I push. Okay, what a battle. Oh my god. Wait. Okay. Oh my god. What a crazy game, guys. If that thing telling me my time is as annoying to you as it is to me. That was a funny game. I had him. I had him. He knows I had him. Okay. Oh, man. I think I had him at the end there, too. Okay, even only off. Wait, okay, gotta have a look. So, he plays a Joe Bava. I'm like, I wanted to play the French because I wanted this Gambit. So, and I get it. So, we get a French transposition, right? So, as if he played, like, e4, e6, d4, d5, knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5, right? So, this is the position we got in the game, just kind of a different move order. He plays here bishop g5, and I play h6. So, takes, and I have this McCutcheon Gambit from Chess Mood on my channel, where we give this pawn now after bishop to b4. There's actually a lot of fun. So we're threatening to take it back. The e6 castles. Let me talk a little bit more about this opening later. He didn't do that. He didn't do any of that. He just plays a3, which is a good move. It just takes away what I want to do in the position. And I'm just like, okay, I have a bishop pair, and I don't really want just like a French structure so much. I feel like after e5, he got rid of his dark square bishop. Did he respond to me in chat? No. He got rid of his dark square bishop. Which would have otherwise be bad, and my light square bishop would look bad there. So I'm like, okay, this is a good opportunity to maybe make this trade. Take, and I just come back to d8, just out of the way of everybody. Queen g6. But it kind of just develops pretty naturally. Okay, we'll get to all this enough. d4, knight f6 is my game against Daniel Naroditsky. He plays knight to c3, trying to play a Joe Bava London. So he's threatening e4 here, so most lines go with d5 here, and after bishop to f4, there's a lot of ways white can set up, often with a quick long castles, as they're set up to do. Instead, I play e6, allowing him to play e4 and transposing directly to a French, right? So a French, you can imagine, would start with like e4, e6, d4, d5. This is like a French setup here, knight c3, knight f6, the exact position we have in the game, just transposed a little. And what I'm looking for is exactly what I got, which is my spicy Gambit. It's not mine. It's the McCutcheon Gambit from Chess Mood. I have a video breaking down all the theory here. Let me talk a little bit about the theory here if they just actually take this extra pawn. A little bit after, but it's actually really, really fun. But I'll point you to that after what to do there, because you'll see the engine very strongly recommending white to grab this pawn. And, you know, there's a reason he didn't, though. There's a reason he didn't. Here, though, there's not a good option for white other than doing that, because like bishop h4, if you try to maintain the pin, I'm just going to actually be up probably a pretty clean pawn in this line if you don't take this. So takes, white here plays a3, just keeping my bishop out of the b4 square, and he plays this instantly. You can see he's thought a little bit to this point, or he spotted me 34 seconds before he made his first move. Probably not realizing the game had started, but now he's keeping my bishop out of b4. And so here I play just like kind of a quick little principled decision, which is d takes e4. The reason is, like, let's say I just play like c6 defending my pawn, and like he goes for like e5, queen d8. the French structure, he's got pawns on dark squares, which means his dark square bishop would be not so great, but he's managed to trade off that dark square bishop. Not that that's necessarily a trade he wants, but it's not so bad of a trade. And I'm stuck with this light square bishop, which in the French can be jammed in by pawns of your own color pretty badly because you lack space, and also because all your pawns are on light squares, so the bishop doesn't have any options. So with the bishop pair, I want an open position, and so I go for d takes e4, even though that has a tempo on my queen. I have some interesting options with my queen. I was talking about this during the game. I have, like, say, queen g6 hitting the knight, but knight g3 shields g2, and so next turn, probably bishop to d3, and white here is doing pretty nicely, tempoing my queen. So I just get her all the way out of the way, back to d8. Knight to f3 played, bishop to e7. So what I was talking about, I want now, because I traded these two pawns before he had a chance to play e5, I do have this nice diagonal now for a bishop that would otherwise be very bad. The problem is, actually, so something like knight e5 comes, and then I think, yeah, we got lots of problems here. f7 gets hit. And then there's, like, okay, knight to f6 check, queen takes b7. After that, with my rook hanging, bishop to b5 can come as well. So, I'm too far from castling here to start making other weaknesses before I have a chance to fill them in. So, much better to start as I did with bishop to e7 first. He plays bishop to d3, completing his development. Now I played b6, queen to e2, bishop to b7. And long castle. So everything he does here is right. And now I'm playing knight to d7. And so, okay, both of us kind of finish our development. He has a very nice long castle here with his rook pointing onto my queen, which is very smart because another move I wanted to make was c5 to strike at the center a little bit. And it's not something I'm going to do in this position now after, say, takes, bishop to b5 check, for example, would win my queen with the rook just pointing right there. So all of his pieces look here quite nice. And yes, I have a bishop pair, but it's not like I'm doing a ton. And the rooks are coming to e1. He's got a lot of other ideas in this position. So he jumps in now, knight to e5. And what he wants to follow knight to e5 with, like, let's say a castle, which is the engine's recommendation here, but is f4, and really solidifying this knight here. And now, especially with this pawn on h6, it looks a little dangerous because g4, g5 can make a hook to trade. Like, here, let me show you what I mean. So, like, let's say these trade off, like something like this or whatever, like takes, or even here, like rook g1. This rook can come to h3, and then queen to h5 can just checkmate me, or the rooks will stack on the g line, pressure g7. So this can be very dangerous. Opposite side castles, you're going to want to attack the king, right? Because if his king were over there, then he wouldn't be pushing g4, g5. That would make his king more unsafe than it would make mine. But, his king's going to be safe and sound over here, and he's going to cause a lot of action this way. And what h6 does is it presents a hook for him to trade off pawns. Right, so g5 can come, and if it were flat, it might not really do anything. Like, yes, he can still create, like, a lot of threats here owing to his piece activity. Like, the queen and bishop could coordinate on h7, potentially. But it presents a hook to trade off pawns. The point of pushing pawns would be to trade pawns, right? It's going to force a trade of pawns now, because my pawn's on h6 rather than flat on h7. And with a trade of pawns, not only do I lose a defender, but they lose a pawn that would otherwise block their rooks. So, like, the rooks can come to g1 and g3, after trading this pawn, and really just kill me on g7 or kill me on the h line. So that's potentially dangerous, and why I didn't want to castle short here. But I also can't really just take e5, because after d takes e5, then I'm dealing with all sorts of problems. Again, yeah, I have to castle short. Like the queen, where's the queen going such that you're not going to lose the bishop to b5 check when losing your queen there. So I was a little wary about castling short. I felt his attack was going to be much stronger than mine. It's hard to say how I cause a problem so quick over there. So that's why I played this move a6, trying to be a little creative here. He plays rook to e1. Yeah, best was f4 so that he can recapture with the f pawn. If you can recapture with the f-pawn, then, you've got pressure here. So, like, for example, queen d7, you can play rook f1, hitting f7 and maybe making it hard for me to castle long without losing this f7 pawn. So that's pretty nasty. And I still can't take on d4 because of bishop to b5 check, winning my queen. So a6 I play, though, I mean, it holds off, like, the immediate threat. Like, if I actually do nothing in this position, then bishop to b5 just wins the game owing to the pin here, and I don't even have c6 because these are controlling c6. So I have to do something. So a6, like, yes, it's defended here, even though that's actually how I want to castle with this rook. So that's kind of a situation where, like, he's using his development advantage very effectively. Like, yes, I have this bishop pair. Like, I have a bishop for a knight here, but, I have a lot of complications that go with it. Okay, he didn't play f4. He just plays the very natural rook e1, which is, a very logical move to play quickly in blitz. That's your worst piece. Now you've brought it to the center. But here I'm able to get away with actually a pretty clever idea, which is takes, and now I make that rook look not so smart. It's now staring at its own pawn, and queen to d5. So queen to d5, I get away with this because there's no bishop to b5 check here. Queen takes b5, shout out to my pawn that's now on a6, preventing my queen from being lost. So queen to d5 works out well. He plays f4. In the game, I remarked that I missed queen to a2. So f4 to defend e5. But it was a bad choice because of c4, and maybe I lose my queen. So let's say I castle long here. Knight to c3. if I go, so it hits my queen. So c4 means there's no escape. So this is kind of a call an ambulance, but not for me sort of moment. I'm like, queen a2, yeah, this is really dangerous. I'm going to go check, and I'm going to take b2. You're in trouble. And he says, no, you're locked in here with me. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. c4 literally almost has no other purpose other than to be like, no, you're locked in here. Stay in there. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. So being like, no, you're not getting out. I mean, it also has the other purpose of, okay, you're defending b2. King to c2, defending this pawn. Queen a2, knight c3, and now I'm trapped, right? So I can't just go for that. If I castle, yeah, knight c3, same idea. Queen a1, king c2, I'm trapped again. If I go queen b3, bishop c2, I'm trapped again. Trade doesn't change anything. I'm trapped. So I have this piece sacrifice. So basically the queen needs help, needs some friends to like, you know, if you're locked in a room of battle and someone's gonna die, you know, they've got a lot of hired guns here. She needs some help. Bishop takes a3 provides like a little bit of help, at least to get the queen out of there, but white here is totally fine. White here is totally fine. So c4 played by Mr. Naroditsky. No, c4 not played by Mr. Naroditsky. I didn't go queen a2. And it was kind of a lucky coincidence that I didn't. In the game, I play queen to a5, and I do, like, it makes a lot of sense. It's literally the best move now that's thinking about it. It gave me a mistake, but it's literally the best move. Yeah, I'm trying to castle, but this is hanging, right? So my rook needed to be here to guard a6. I would just be losing this pawn straight up. So queen a5 makes a lot of sense. I managed to trade on e5, not get killed on f7, and I got the queen out of the d line, right? So everything here is actually pretty good. And also I got the queen to a5, which is an actively useful square because it guards a6, potentially gets me to castle, and I'd have my precious bishop pair. Last chance for him was queen to h5 to make it hard for me to castle, pressuring f7. And if g6, then, oh, what is going on here? A filthy, crazy sequence here of knight to f6 check. Okay, you can be very forgiven for missing this. So can I. Takes g6, attacking f7 if the bishop moves. Takes, queen takes, and then he's just eating everything. He's just eating everything. Here, takes. Rook's gonna pour in. Rook's hanging. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow, what a line. So g6 can't be played. Crazy stuff. Okay, he just plays queen to f3, which makes sense because you're trying to go like knight to f6 check and queen takes b7, but the bishop is in the way of the rook here. All right, and could you play here bishop c4 trying to make it hard for me to castle? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I'm probably going to play here, yeah, rook d8 to make that trade, and then it starts to look more and more okay for me to castle here as the firepower has started to diminish on that part of the board. Because I won't be able to castle with that rook again. Okay, in the game, queen to f3, but castles, and I'm fine. My king defends the bishop, so any knight check here, I can just take it and not lose the bishop. So things are looking good for William here, down 49-31 on the clock against Daniel Naroditsky. He plays here just the simple, solid king to b1, which makes a ton of sense when you're not sure what to do, and bishop takes a3 could be on the table. Could be on the table, right? Like, what I would need for this to work, and the engine's just saying draw, what I would need for it to work, like, let's say you didn't do it, actually, would it work? Maybe. I think not because of king d2. Yeah, king d2 is needed to run in that direction. But if you went king b1, then yeah, the rook here comes to b4. Like or c3 to stop it. And the rook comes to a4. That's really serious. That's really serious. And here, you know, I can make it hard for you to just kind of run away. Bishop can join the fray. Yeah. So that's a very serious idea. He plays king to b1 to prepare for that. So now this wouldn't be check anymore, and he can bring in some sort of defensive resource here. I don't even know. c3? It's saying, I mean, it just hands me a draw. So it was actually an interesting idea to just go for. I didn't. I'm just playing like rook d7, which is a very logical move. Just rook d7, just bringing all our pieces into the game onto that open d line. And here, yeah, this is already nice for black. I have kind of dodged all the bullets here. I sort of said before that statically the position was good for me if I could maintain the bishop pair and just get out of the woods, and I have. My king is castled, everybody's safe, my pieces are good. And yeah, my bishop here is operating well, and this bishop is also operating well because potentially there are sacrifices on a3. So he plays here g4, looking for some idea of f5, and already, wow, bishop takes a3 is now working. I don't know what just changed so dramatically that it's now so good. It's now so good. Oh, because I can bring this other rook to d8, and so c3 resource is taken off the table. And because of that, what's my threat here? Well, because of that, it's hard to, like, move... Oh, it's hard to, like, bring the queen across to b2, which is your best defensive resource. To bring the queen across to b2, because the bishop will hang here, now that I have two rooks here. So rook d7 was actually a very useful move. Plotting bishop takes a3. I don't do it, though. And I just play the next best move, which is rook to d8, which is very logical. Just bring that in as well. We're at 21 seconds apiece. He plays queen g3, sidestepping the pin, and he's still focused on probably like his idea here of f5. He's played g4, like he's just trying to have some idea of f5, and I play rook d4, which is again the second best move, and again the best move is bishop takes a3. I was saying this during the game. I don't have to trust him. I don't have to trust him. Takes, queen takes a3. The rook is coming across here. This is super duper strong stuff. This is super duper strong stuff. Yeah, any bishop move right now becomes very difficult because rook takes d1 is going to happen. I'm just going to win that. So bishop e2, yeah, at minimum I'm actually winning that knight. I'm winning that knight, so, like, let's say the knight tried to come to b3. Oh, but then I have this sacrifice, which I missed. Takes, rook takes d3. Well, you know it's bad when the best move is rook g1. What if you just save your queen? Then check. Oh, my goodness, and you get mated here or here, depending on which square your king goes to. I had it. I had it, guys. I had it. I played rook d4 to prepare bishop takes a3. Okay, he goes knight to d2, which is a good move. Now, if bishop takes a3, it's a little premature. The knight will jump into c4 or b3. One of these two squares, knight on c4, forking the bishop and the queen, right? So here he's just able to grab that bishop on a3 cleanly. So I can't just allow that to happen. So here's why, that's why I played bishop to d5, which is a good move. Stopping knight to b3 and knight to c4. And now, like, if you give me another move here, this is going to kill you. I knew it that at this point. Queen takes a3 is going to kill you. I'm already coordinating on a2 and rook b4. I'm really, really, really wanting to do it. So bishop to d5 played. Ibrahim, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Bishop to d5 played. And c4. Which is apparently a mistake, although, like, not a bad mistake at all, because it's not obvious what's going on here. c4 makes a lot of sense, because you're trying to make the bishop move and then just play knight b3 with a fork, right? How could that be wrong? How could that be wrong? The problem is, and it's what I spotted during the game at the last moment here, with 4 seconds to go against 13, is that, so I move my bishop, he plays knight to b3, he forked me, and also my queen's running low on squares, so he's going to take that rook, right? Wrong. It's -4 for me when I play this nice move, rook takes d3. Rook takes d3 out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, everybody coordinates perfectly. The rook on e1, I said it wasn't well placed there. It's really not. Takes d3. I just need to go rook takes d3. I'm attacking the queen here. If you take it, I take here, and I'm up a piece. I'm up a piece because the rook is hanging on e1 with the queens losing the defense there. And if you play knight takes a5, I take here. And if you play knight takes b7, I just move the rook, save it. I'm going to play king takes b7 next turn. That knight is trapped in there. Otherwise takes, and that looks very similar to the game, 2 bishops for the rook. In the game, so, okay, goes knight takes a5, and I take the queen, take here, bishop takes, very important, not king takes, allowing this with check, which would change everything, and now I would lose. Bishop takes, very important. Takes a5. We've done everything right. It's a completely winning endgame. It's -4. 2 bishops for the rook very cleanly. What happened here? Okay, blitz out gets crazy. Rook to e3, bishop to e7. We're just straightening things out a little bit. King c2, bishop c6, and a4. So I straightened that pawn out pretty nicely. It's defended. There's no entry squares for the rook. Let's now figure out how to make progress. So my bishop comes to c5, which is actually, you know, we're actually making a ton of progress here. There was no b4, bishop on c5, bishop on c6. We're looking at bishop f2 and bishop f3. Yeah, let's win some pawns. Those are the only pawns unprotected in the whole position. Protected, 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 right? These are all there. These are all protected. Those guys are my targets. So let's see what we can do here. Rook e2 covers bishop f2, not bishop f3. So rook h2, and we take that pawn. Things are going great here. King d3, we go check, king e2. And it was here I realized, oops, that check wasn't smart. Oh no, I don't know what I realized. Okay, check, it was fine. I'm playing bishop to d4. Again, another nice move. Bishop came to d4 here, looking at the b2 pawn. That's another pawn we can attack. King comes to f3, and I play here king to d8, which is a little bit of a strange move, stepping potentially into the line of fire. Probably a better idea was just like c5, making the bishop super solid here, and tying the rook down to b2 for eternity. If g4, bishop to d3, this should be actually a really easy victory. This should actually be a really easy victory. But none of us, we're playing on 1 second increment with 5 seconds apiece. So what's going on here? Against one of the better, like blitz out players in the world, probably. Like, top 3, I would say. King to d8, rook to d2. c6. Oh yeah, I forgot. I mouse slipped here. We played c6 instead of c5. Look at the gap between the best move and the second best move. Minus 5.79 if I play c5. Plus 2 if I play check. Okay, this bishop was that good, actually. So this is a huge swing from -6 to +4, with now my bishop just hanging on d4 because I played c6 in the blitz out, but not c5. That's part of the game. He actually maybe doesn't even realize it because we're both just moving so fast. He plays g4, you know, just attacking this bishop. Unfortunately for me, g4 is actually a good move because, like, it's not like he just played something totally random and then I can fix it. g4 does attack my bishop, so it's like, it's kind of like an in-between phase. This rook takes d4 would go from completely losing for white to completely winning. The g4 is somehow the only in-between situation where now it's like about equal. I play now c5 to fix it. Takes. It's actually still should be very good. It's plus 1.4 now. It's plus 1.4. So I just lost that bishop hole. That's what happened. I just lost the bishop hole. To be clear what I mean, yeah, c5. No, this should be winning quite easily for black. You know, some idea I might look for is, yeah, probably just picking off that pawn. There's not a lot white can do about bishop b1, bishop a2. Just grabbing that pawn, and, you know, you can start advancing with these guys. You can also bring the king in, try to bring the king to b3, and really just eliminate b2 systematically. There's nothing white can do. There's no open files or anything. So in the game, let's talk about this. So g4, engine wanted me to take it in here. Was a better structure than allowing takes f5. Best option for white. This is actually really important. White actually has one move that preserves the advantage, because rook h2, and now you can see and it drops to dead equality. Not that this really matters in a crazy blitz out, but rook d3 is actually a really nice move. It's not obvious why. And you know, you need much more time than this to realize this, but I can't take b2. This is the only instant where I can't take b2. Right? Otherwise, like, I'm going to move my king, and you're going to be stuck to that pawn. It's not moving, and this bishop is also not moving, and that pawn is also not moving, so you're going to be stuck defending that pawn. But you can play rook d3. This is one instant where I can't take it. Now I get off the line. What's the point of rook d3? A, it holds the pin. B, it holds the b3 square. So now you play d3, make that pawn trade. You don't have to deal with this. You can even get that pawn to a light square. It won't be attacked, and also the rook finally has a file to get under here and start attacking a6 and winning the game here. So rook d3 was actually a really good move, and that's why white is winning in this position if they find it. In the game, he just plays rook h2 because we're just moving around here. King e7, rook e2. I play g6 because, again, we're just moving around here. Rook g2. I play h5. I'm like, okay, let me make them all on nice, pretty defended squares. We're just moving around here. King e2. I actually don't notice that king e2 hangs the b2 pawn. Okay. King to e6, king to d3. I play h4, right? I'm like, okay, let me cause you some problems. I think he probably had the idea at this point to play king c2 and b3. King c2 and b3, that's very logical. And then to play king takes b3, right? So let's say I keep doing nothing here, right? You don't want to keep doing nothing. Oh, well, king c2 is not a good move because it actually hangs f4. So what you need to do is rook e2 maybe, right? You saw what I meant there. King to e7, if he plays king c2, bishop e3, there's no way to defend this pawn. And then that falls, and then if that falls, that falls as well. Okay, and then these guys will overwhelm. So right now he needs to control the e3 square. He needs to double control it for a second, so that king c2, so that he can arrange b3. This is if black just really is doing nothing. I mean, again, apparently this was bad. Again, I guess the king has strayed too far here, and like this pawn can just go at this point. This pawn can just go at this point, and g5 necessary to yeah, this king is too far, and this pawn mass will be too good. But that's what he was going to go for. Like, you know, you want some idea in a blitz out. Like, he's going to try to take this and push this pawn. Apparently my guys are just way faster, so this wasn't even a good idea. But yeah, so white actually has to hang tight here. I'm actually kind of the only one that can do something. And I try. So I try. I play h4. So I make this bold decision to release the pawn from a defended square and send it at this rook, because I dare you to take it, because I'm going to take this one. And I felt like in the heat of the moment that if I take that one, which is what happened, he to his credit, he makes that trade, take b2. But now white is winning because, he plays king to e2, right? So, in the heat of the moment, I'm like, I'm going to hit this pawn and this pawn, right? So I'm like, taking this pawn is very important. It's actually not that important, because he just needs to play king c2, stopping bishop to c1. The rook defends a3 for him. So now I come back bishop to d4. But now that pawn trade has happened, the b2 pawn wasn't very valuable. It's not like it gave me a pass pawn. In fact, I lost the most valuable pawn on the board. The rook gets under. The rook finally has a route back here. It's the h line that I just gave him. Remember, it was clogged before. Now the rook comes to h8. It's going to come to a8. It's going to take all these pawns. Maybe they can time this a little better, make sure I can't get in bishop e3. It's a little tough for white, because any pawns on dark squares are targets, right? If this pawn were on a2, they'd have a much easier time, because I can never take it. But here, like, it's on a dark square, so I have bishop e3 ideas, and here I have bishop e2 ideas. But, you know, they get away with all this bishop e3 here. Yeah, these trades end up working out for them. They're going to win this. They're going to win some sort of foot race here. So, in the game, king to e2 played. King to e2 played, which makes sense, right? Because you want to defend this pawn, you want to bring it there. But bishop to c1, it actually becomes very annoying for white, because king to f3, you would interrupt the defense of a3. That's what he does, king f3, and I grab a3. Rook to h8, he finally gets underneath here. He finally gets underneath, but not after losing only after losing the a3 pawn. So I play a bishop to b4, rook to a8, and now after a5, right? So I actually, this pawn looks totally useless, but I get it to a5, and now there should be nobody stopping this pawn getting all the way to a1. And here it's actually -7. I should win. But we have, like, no time. So the rook coming to a8 was not a smart idea. What he needed was rook h2 and actually coming to a2. He needed to just bring this guy here. and kind of just hang tight, and apparently this is drawn. He traded the H-pawns for the B and the A-pawns, but apparently it's still drawn because it's hard for me to actually make any progress here. He comes around, which, you know, you can't blame him for. That's a good idea, but I have this pawn on A5 that blocks the rook's control, which is very important. So he goes check, he does whatever he can do. I'm like trying to find a way out of this, like stop checking me. I come to king G7 or K7, and here I'm worried about E6. I'm worried about E6. And so I play like king G8, again, to get out of the way of that. He goes check here. Apparently, like, this is nothing, though. A3, E6, A2, E7 was my concern. But I win on this foot race. Here, here, and I have some series of checks that ends the game. If you go here, I go check and take the queen. This isn't what happened. And if you go here, then bishop to E1. And here you're going to get somehow checkmated. King H3, mate. King H1, check, and mate, check, and mate. So there was some series of mate, but I probably had a cleaner route, which was probably king H6. King H6, just so E6 I can take it, right? My concern was like rook A8. Yeah, this was my concern. And now if I play A3, you go check, and you just still come back here. But apparently I'm still winning this. I don't know what the difference is between this and the idea is now I can come to B2. Was there just an easy way to win? Is kind of my question. I think the answer is no, which makes me feel a little bit better about myself. Because like here, okay, I still get checked. The eval is going to be big in every line because there's some complicated winning line. But yeah, E6 with the pin is tough. E6 with the pin suggests that I need to race. Because if takes here, okay, this race I win cleanly, yeah? No. I win for the same complicated reason as before, which is we both queen, and then I have some checks that win the game. So I actually had to see that. And, you know, it's really not clear what's happening there, because when they've got a rook and your king feels unsafe, but you're both queening. But the thing is, I queen first and can start checking first. And that's a tough one to see. So we end up just repeating here, and we draw a wild game. A wild, wild game against Danya himself. Wow.
William Grave, the Gambit man, takes his seat at the board. E4. E5. Knight F3. Bishop C5. The Bushcast Gambit on the board. On with the Gambit classes. Hero Pod unlocked.